Why did the cookie go to the doctor? Because it was feeling crummy. Hi Flosstube, I'm Stephanie, the Ivy House Crafter. Welcome to my channel. For those who are new, my husband has a dad joke of the day calendar that I got him for Christmas, and so all of my videos this year I'm starting off with a dad joke of the day. Okay, before I get started on like cross-stitchy stuff, best new thing, you know those, it's a 2-in-1 hairbrush hair dryer, and it like, you can style your hair while you're drying it, and it's similar to using a hair dryer and a round brush, but it's 2-in-1. I got one and I really like it. Look at how smooth and soft and actually styled my hair is. So yeah, I enjoy using it. I go through phases in my life of really taking care of my appearance and you know, making sure that my hair looks nice every day. I've always got a little bit of makeup on. And other phases where none of that. And so I'm in the, if I ain't gotta go no place, I ain't gonna do nothing to make this look good phase. And like even if I do go someplace, I'd often like, let's see, should I wash my hair or wear a hat? Wear a hat, because it's easier. So I'm trying to be a little bit better about looking decent. So yeah, I washed and styled my hair this morning. I put on foundation and like lip stuff that's tinted, and I'm feeling just lovely. Don't expect it every week. This is not gonna be regular probably, but we'll see. Okay, I didn't film last week. If anybody is actually paying attention, they would have noticed that, and if not, that's fine, you know, whatever. But that's because the week leading up to last Monday, when I would have filmed, most of my stitching was taken up with stuff that I couldn't show on film yet. I was working on my Biscornu for my Biscornu partner for the Great Biscornu Swap, which I will link below. It's a Facebook group run by the lovely and talented Jennifer Upton, where we create and swap Biscornus every few months. And for those who don't know what a Biscornu is, I got mine this past week or so, and so I'll be showing you, and you can see what it is. It's basically a really fancy pin cushion. It looks really cool. But I couldn't show that until my swap partner received it. And it was delivered this morning, but I can't show it because I filmed it in a different, in a clip with another thing that is for somebody else, and that was the other thing that I was stitching on that week. Am I convoluted enough yet? Like, are you having enough difficulty understanding what I'm saying? Okay, so last week I was stitching the Biscornu. I was stitching a gift for a friend, and when they were done, I videoed both of them, just kind of showing what they look like and how fun they are. Sent them off. One has been received, one I'm not sure. I threw away the receipt with the tracking number on it, so I don't know if it's been delivered or not. So I will put next week the clip that I took of those two things. In the meantime, the important thing is, I didn't film last week because of that. I didn't really have anything to show. But now I'm filming this week. That was more story than I intended to tell. That's okay. So I had a great week, a great couple of weeks. Last Tuesday I had craft night, and that's once a month. Several of the ladies in our ward, our congregation, gather for several hours of just crafting and creating. Some of us bring sewing machines, some bring other projects. One lady comes and brings her crochet. It's just a lot of fun. So on Tuesday, I brought my biscornu. I had stitched front and back, and I assembled it, you know, put it all together, and then I brought some stitching for the rest of the time. And I wanted to share two highlights of that craft night. One was the cookie. There is a bakery somewhere here in Salt Lake that does incredibly delicious cookies. I've never ordered from them, I've never been there or anything, but apparently they deliver like fresh to your door, and the cookies are still warm and everything. And so one of the ladies had these cookies delivered and brought them, and they were still like just a little bit warm and super fresh and extremely gooey and enormous. I mean, there was some heft to these cookies. You pick it up and it's like, oh man, that's a heavy cookie. It was, okay, I'm not exaggerating. It was this big around, so like the size of my lower face, and it was this tall. It was huge. That is a big cookie. And it was so good. And like it was cooked all the way through, just the tiniest little bit like gooey in the middle, the kind where it's chewy but it's not like squishy or raw, not burned on the edges or anything. So they have the cooking down for these giant cookies, and I was just like, that is a big cookie. So that was, it's kind of silly, but that was a highlight of that craft night, was each of us got a cookie, a big cookie. And the other highlight was the same lady that brought the cookies. She was doing some sewing, and instead of sewing pins, she had brought wonder clips. So that's like these clippy things that, you know, hold the stuff together. And they work really well for when you're sewing stiff, thick things that pins would have trouble with. Anyway, so she showed us her wonder clips, and they were in this adorable little tin. It was like an old-fashioned Christmas card tin. And it was just really cute, and she said her husband had given it to her for Christmas or something, and she gave us the link to buy them. And so it's 100 wonder clips, and it comes in a really cute and apparently seasonally appropriate tin container, you know, to hold them in. And so I ordered one, and this is the tin that I got. I hope there's not like a lot of glare, but it's an Easter tin, and isn't that just so cute? And on this side it says Eastertide, and it's got like just bunnies and chicks, and it is just the cutest little thing. And it's got 100 wonder clips. And I'm thinking maybe I'll order one every season and see what tins they come in, but I don't have a need for that many wonder clips, because each one comes with 100 wonder clips. So I'm going to link below where you can buy this on Amazon. It's so cute. And I've started using a couple of these. I stitch in hand most of the time, and so I roll up the fabric and then hold it while I'm stitching. And I've started using one of these on each end to keep the fabric rolled up. That was an idea I got from the Addicted Sisters here on Flosstube, and it's a great idea. Thank you so much, Nancy and Laura. Great idea. And I can use those for making my project bags and stuff like that. Okay. I am like 10 minutes in and I haven't even started showing cross stitch. Just really quick. No, I'll talk about that later. Okay, anyway, I'll show some cross stitch now. Let's do some whips. The first thing that I worked on the past couple weeks, so this was like right after I filmed my last Flosstube video, but I worked some more on Active Service by Purple Stitching. A while back I asked advice on what I should call her, and I had a few different people say Anne or Anna. I'm gonna call her Anne because she makes me think of the last book in the Anne of Green Gables series called Rilla of Ingleside, and that takes place during World War I, and the main female characters in several parts knit on socks to send to their soldiers who are in the war. And so this always makes me think of that, and since it's part of the Anne of Green Gables series, I thought it would be appropriate to call her Anne. So, this is Anne. I worked on Anne. Hello, Audrey. And Anne has a face. Look, Audrey, she's not creepy anymore. She's got her...
Yay! Finally! Please don't cut this part out, except for the please don't cut this part out part.
I'm not cutting any of this out. You are immortalized for jumping up and down behind the camera saying yay.
Okay.
That's my 9-year-old daughter, Audrey. Do you want to pop on and say hi?
Okay.
Just lean over, don't crush any of my stuff.
Hi.
That's Audrey. Okay.
Ow. I'm good.
So what are you doing up here?
Just wanting a snack.
She's gonna get a snack. I'm gonna keep talking. Anne has a face. There were several more colors, but only a few more stitches left that I had to do. There's so much confetti in her face. It's crazy, but she is just beautiful. I was just so thrilled to finally be able to put in the last stitch on those eyes, nose, mouth, and so the next time I pick her up, I'll start working some more on filling in around the edges of her face and starting to move out into her hair, or I might come in. Either way, I'm going to start filling in this part. And it's going to be beautiful because it just is. So once again, this is Active Service by Purple Stitching on Etsy. I'm stitching it using 2 strands of the called for DMC. DMC on 18 count white Aida. Alright. This is looking close enough to what it's going to be that I'm not going to show what it's going to look like, but I did some work on the Bird Sampler by Brenda Keyes. I put in some leaves and the purple, let's see, there's one, all of these purple berry-like things, and I started adding the wording. Sings in the shade when all things rest. So there's going to be a whole big quote.
We ran out of hash browns and I want something fried. I can't find anything to fry.
Well, you're going to have something not fried, okay? Have a banana, sweetie.
My hand is cold from searching in the freezer.
Have a banana.
Can I have
and then do we have apples?
I think so. Let me find one.
If not, grab a banana and head downstairs, okay?
Okay.
I don't remember what I was saying about this, but it's pretty. Admire it. Thank you very much. La la. Bird Sampler by Brenda Keyes. I'm stitching it on 32 count lambswool jobelin with the called for DMC. Why do I keep saying the wrong thing? if I work on this consistently, I will have a finish on this pretty soon. No promises. We'll see.
I don't really like two brown bananas, and our bananas are too brown.
Our bananas are too brown. Would you like a bowl of frozen berries that you microwave?
Tomato wedges.
Tomato wedges.
With salt on it.
Okay. Can you handle the knife yourself?
For tomatoes, I might not.
Do you want me to pause this and come help you? We'll be right back. Okay, she's got her tomato wedges with salt. Let's see how long we have before all of the other kids come thundering upstairs wanting a snack. Next thing I worked on, this is what I worked on Tuesday at craft night after I finished assembling the Biscornu. This is Medieval Motives. The colors are not accurate because my printer doesn't like color. And this is one that I designed, and it's available in my Etsy shop linked below. Oh, there's the door. So what I worked on Tuesday night and again on Wednesday morning was this brown up here, and that's going to go all the way across, and that's the top border. So this is what I have all together so far. This is, it took a deceptively long amount of time to stitch this. It might have been because I was also chatting and eating a giant cookie. That could have been part of it. So, Medieval Motives. This is 18 count Aida, 2 strands of DMC floss. I don't remember the color. I think it was called Antique or something like that. It's more just like a really pale yellow. But yeah, when this is done, eventually it will be framed and displayed somewhere. I don't know where. Okay, next whip. I chose this one because I have the Decision Roulette app, and every once in a while I want to stitch and I don't know what I want to stitch on, so I'll just I have a wheel that is all of my whips, and I'll just spin that and see what comes up. And Summer House by Brooks Books came up. This is on my list of things I'd like to finish this year, as is the Bird Sampler and I think Medieval Motives. Anyway, so I put in a lot of work down in this corner and the door, and I put in like the green, a lot of the greens in the bushes down here. And the pathway, I put in the pathway. And here is how this one is turning out. I'm excited to be able to start putting in some of the reds in the flowers up in these bushes. That'll be a lot of fun. And it's just turning out very sweet, very pretty. I was surprised. Again, my printer doesn't like color. I thought the pathway was browns, but it's actually stitched in purples. So that was a fun surprise. So that is Summer House by Brooks Books. This is 28 count Star Sapphire Jobelin, I think. It's got a weird texture though. It feels more like a linen, like one of those stiff linen things. And it's slubby like a linen. It might, so I don't know, it might have been mislabeled, but the label that came with this was Star Sapphire Jobelin, so that's what I'm going with. And my last whip for the past 2 weeks, I pulled out Forever and Ever. This is part of the first Cottage Garden Samplings, The Songbird's Garden #1. Forever and Ever, featuring the Northern Cardinal and the Christmas Rose. this week I put in Love and 2 colors in this stem, and there's going to be a little green rosebud down here, and these are going to be leaves. This is 1/2 on 36 count Tyco Edinburgh linen. I had to think for a minute. I haven't thought about what fabric this is for a while. Stitched 1/2 with the DMC conversion. And I love this piece. It is so pretty. And I'm so glad that I was enabled by Jennifer Upton to sign up for the auto ship on this series with Trisha 3L Threads, so that I get a new one and a new one and a new one and a new one. So I'm getting all of them, and I love every single one of them. They're going to take me forever to stitch because I have 50 bazillion other whips, but I love it. Alright, that is all of my whips. And now I need to get back to what I'm supposed to be talking about. Okay, next fun thing. I mentioned before, I received my Biscornu from the Great Biscornu Swap. My partner was Nanette McDougall, and she gave me a lovely card, which I should have grabbed but didn't. But anyway, she talked about how she's Irish, and that is why the Biscornu she sent was green. And she mentioned that she created this pattern herself, which is incredible because, I mean, look at this, the detail on this black work. It is so lovely. I hope this is showing it. And here's the back. But like, look at these leaves and acorns. It is so cute. Just beautiful Biscornu. She also sent me some green floss, again because she's from Ireland. So there's DMC 368 and Coates & Clark 98 Fern Green, and we have Perilusta color 388. This is a really pretty one, kind of soft yellowish green. And J&P Coates 00152. And the Gentle Art Pine Fancy Floss. So those are really lovely. I also received some Whisper floss. This is my first time to have Whisper. I'll have to come up with something fun to stitch with this. Let's see. And a whole bunch of buttons that I'm assuming, she didn't talk about the buttons in her note, but I'm assuming these are meaningful to her in some way. There's a donut and a suitcase and ballet slippers and a crown and a flower and a lamb and a milkshake and an orange and another flower and a dog and the word dog. So some really fun buttons. And she hand dyed me some fabric. Isn't that pretty? Kind of like a sky. I'm not sure what the count is. It's very small. I'm thinking it might be 40 count, but I'll have to get out a ruler and actually measure what count this is. This is the kind of thing that you would stitch 1/2. And it's just lovely. She also dyed the fabric for her Biscornu. So Thank you so much, Nanette. I don't know if you watch my Flosstube, but if you do, thank you. I went to, earlier this week, the Craft Center of Fine Stitchery and had fun picking up a couple things to send with the Viscornu, because you got to do extras. I mean, the extras are optional, but anyway. While I was there, I got this pattern from Yvette S. Ungrit. Ungricht? I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but this is Salt Lake Temple Square. And it has the Salt Lake Temple, the Assembly Hall, the Annex, the Lion House, and the Beehive House. And those are all historic, iconic buildings at Temple Square here in Salt Lake. And I thought that this was just really neat. So I will stitch this at some point. I have a lot of things, like a lot of patterns that I would really like to stitch, and some of them are kitted up and some of them are not, and I'm not sure when I'll be starting any of them. We'll see. But this is on the list now. Salt Lake Temple Square. Yvette Ungricht also had another pattern there that I really wanted, but it was really, really big and pricey, like worth the price, but more than I was gonna spend that day. I don't know, maybe someday I'll go back and get it, but it was Come Come Ye Saints, and that's a beloved hymn in our church. And it was like a band sampler, so it was really long. It was like 16 inches wide and 45 inches long is what the fabric requirements were, I think. And it was a band sampler that had the entire song like in backstitch or whatever, and there were scenes from the history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, of which I'm a member. Particularly the pioneers coming across the plains and settling in Utah. And it's such a big piece and so detailed and just really, really just amazing. And I was so tempted to get that, but I ended up not. And I got this one instead of that one because it was a smaller piece that was more reasonable for me with all my other whips, that I might actually stitch it and complete it at some point. And yeah. So that was Craft Center of Fine Stitchery. And then on Saturday, so a couple days before Saturday, Deb and Kef of Snug Harbor Crafts posted in their Facebook group that they were going to Shepherd's Bush on Saturday if anybody wanted to meet up, and I'm like, I'm there! I'm gonna be there! So I did go on Saturday, and so many other people went too. It was like a party in Shepherd's Bush, and it was so much fun. So I met Deb and Kef of Snug Harbor Crafts, Jenny and Kiara of Cricklewood Crossing, Sarah of Our Stitching Kingdom, who I have met and stitched with before, and her little daughter Alice, and her older daughter Izzy, who is Stitchy Gamer here on Flosstube. I met Maddie, Zoe, and Wyatt, the Sassy Stitching sisters and brother, and their parents, more their mom than their dad, but he was there too. And there were so many other people there too. I'm not good with names. I know those ones because I can look them up. I'm like, okay, I know Cricklewood Crossing was there. What was her name again? And I can look it up. But there were somebody who recognized me from Instagram, who, was like, I follow you on Instagram. I'm like, thank you, hi! From across the room, and there was another lady there who didn't know anything about this whole meetup, and she just happened to be there shopping, and we had been at a Stitchy meetup several months ago, and so we got to say hi. And just other people who were in the Snug Harbor Crafts Facebook group who wanted to meet Deb and Kev. And so it was one great big fun party, and I had a great time. I put up a few pictures on Instagram, so you can go check out my Instagram account. I'm just at Ivy House Crafter, all one word, no spaces or underscores or periods or anything. And it was so much fun. Kef live streamed the whole thing on her Instagram. I don't know if it's available to watch anymore, but I watched it after I got home, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, it was just such a neat experience. The Sassy Stitching sisters and brother, their mom, and like I said, I'm really bad with names, and I don't remember your name, and I'm so sorry, but you are so sweet. And she made project bags for everybody who came. This is my hot cocoa project bag. Look at it, it's so big. Like the bags that I make, they come up to like here. This will hold my 11-inch Q-snap super easy. And yeah, it's so pretty. And like, she didn't have to do that. That was just so nice of her. So thank you so much, Mom from Sassy Stitching Sisters and Brother. I will find an appropriately awesome project to put in there. And of course you can't go to Shepherd's Bush without spending money. So here's my bag of haul, and everybody got this cute little sheep card thing, and this pin, and it is so cute. So I should have untied all this before. She double knotted it. Okay, take the pin off and set that aside. Talk amongst yourselves, although I don't know why Flosstubers say that, because you're probably watching by yourself. Save extenuating circumstances. Anyway, so yeah, cute little card. I purchased, they had the new market releases there, which was really neat. And I wasn't planning on getting any of the new market releases. Like there's a few that I'm considering, but haven't really, jumped on yet. But Heartstring Samplery, the cat sampler, it spoke to me while I was there. A house isn't a home without the ineffable contentment of a cat with its tail folded about its feet. And yeah, I've got a cat that sits in ineffable contentment, so I had to get that. And I went ahead, I'll put that back in later. I went ahead and kitted it up. I'm using 32 count ice blue linen. Yeah, I'll go ahead and open that up so we can see it. Lots of blue fabrics this week. So this is what I will be stitching it on. 32 count ice blue linen. And I bought the fancy flosses. Not all of them, because some of them they didn't have, and some of them I already have, but here they are, just this handful of loveliness. That's going to be fun. Oh, let me hold that up. on the fabric. That'll be pretty. And I went ahead and bought fabric for the Temple Square piece. It calls for blue Ada in 14 count, but I got 28 count Summer Sky in Jobelin. See, this feels like Jobelin. That other stuff, it didn't feel like Jobelin. But anyway, Summer Sky. And that is just going to be really pretty. I had picked up and was carrying around for a while some Picture This Plus that was a new market release, but eventually decided against that. It was really pretty, but I'm trying not to spend all the money. So yeah. 28 count Jobelin Summer Sky. And I grabbed a little, they have just small cuts stashed all over the store. And so I picked up a small piece of 36 count plum pudding. And I'll have to, oh, why not? I'll have to open it up and look at it right now. Look, it's so little. But that's cute. That'll be good for smalls. 1 or 2 smalls. And that is my haul for this week. I have got so much stuff all around me. Alright. I'm almost done, guys. I made 2 project bags since my last video. And these will be going up in my Etsy shop while this is loading. Here's the first one. I didn't put the charms on yet, so I'm going to correct my previous statement. I will be putting charms on these and then loading them to Etsy while this video is uploading. Anyway, so this one, it's got this really cute alphabet and teacup fabric. And the accent fabric is this really pale paisley and this light bluish green crochet trim and a blue and gray damask lining. Bag number 1. And bag number 2, kind of returning to my roots here with the birds and flowers. When I first started making project bags for myself, I was collecting all kinds of like bird fabric. So this one's got cute birds and butterflies and flowers and fancy writing. And here's the front with this is a damask. I don't know how it's pronounced, but I like it. And it's got the same color of trim, but a different pattern. And it's got this green zipper, which makes it fun and bright. And it has the same blue and gray damask lining. So that's bag number 2. Once again, these will be listed in my shop, and they'll probably be there or be up and available by the time this video has uploaded. One other thing, I cut out a whole bunch of squares of very thin interfacing, which will become ort pouches. I know I keep saying over and over again, I'm going to make some ort pouches to put in my Etsy shop. It's happening. I have the interfacing cut out. I take a long time to get things done sometimes. If I'm not given a deadline, I'll just cruise along my own speed. Anyway, I'm going to be making ort pouches this week. And it's going to be awesome, they're gonna be cute, they're gonna be fun. That is all that I have. And insert clever closing remarks here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Once again, I'm Stephanie, Ivy House Crafter, and I will see you next week. Happy stitching. Bye.